5, 4.
You never know when the momentum's going to shift in a match. It looked very desperate for Novak in the final of Rome that he was going to be out of there in straight sets, down 6-love, 3-all, love 40 on his serve. Managed to somehow wriggle out of that game, took it to a third set. That's brilliant. He's tried that before and it didn't work out, but it did this time. Statistically, generally, the finest volleyer on tour when we get to the end of the season in terms of points won. And Francisco Roy thrilled with that. Tim, you've been team captain this week. You've made some tough choices. You've got to get in the players' heads at these stages when things aren't going well. What would you tell Rafa?
Yeah, I think three things. Court positioning. I think he's got to play tighter to the baseline and look to be aggressive to try and dictate against Djokovic. And you know, let's be honest, these are tough things to do, but if he's going to have any impact in the match, he's got to take risks. I think the slice backhand has been totally ineffective. I think he's got to look to be aggressive off his two-hander. And the third thing, which he's got in a very small dose right now, is a bit of scoreboard pressure to try and keep his nose in front. He lost his serve early in the first set. It was all Djokovic. He has to try and change the momentum in this early part of the second set.
Thanks, Tim.
Novak, a perfect 5 for 5 when he has to hit a second serve against Nadal, who's just a beast against most players when they have to hit a second serve. That was a big one. 183K from the serve. No second serve required there. One of the things, Novak's second serve is big. It's powerful. It doesn't kick very often. It usually comes in slicing a little bit, which works well when you're playing a lefty. Get it into the backhand or the body.
14.
Since he's come back from the elbow surgery a couple of years ago, the kick serve has sort of vanished from Novak's arsenal, but it hasn't really hurt him that much. It's certainly not in this rivalry. He never really used it much anyway. So much for that scoreboard pressure, Tim.
Be patient, Jim. 1-all, if he can stay 1-all, 2-all, 3-all, you know, serving first. Slightly clutching at straws, I know, but if you're going to try and paint a picture of how Nadal can turn it around, the foundation has to start with holding your own serve.
And if there is a way, there's no greater competitor out there. He has the will. And another servant volley.
13-9.
Another bending first serve. Nadal thinks he missed this one.
Point is called in.
Both players in position for a second serve. Let's take a look. Oh, and he has just missed that.
So
1
close.
millimeter. Oh, man.
Because second service, please. Thank you. Please.
Nadal is fuming.
And we are drooling.
Is he right to fume? Nadal. Is he being treated poorly by the crowd?
I don't think so. I think the reality is 3/4 of this crowd are supporting Djokovic. And Djokovic and Nadal rather can't control that. This is a good example where you've got to control the controllables, and he's got to focus on the job in hand, not worry about the crowd. The only way he'll keep them quiet is if he starts playing better tennis.
Good.
Well, you touched on it earlier, Mark Pecci. It's been so difficult for Novak to get the love of the crowd when he's played either Roger or Rafa. Throughout his career, he's been the man in the shadows. This is a little different scenario for him. It must feel sweet for Novak.
Gains great attraction as the second set goes on. Nadal with a second holder serve. And he's got all the incentive he wants as well to show this crowd what he's all about. 2-1, Team Spain. Well, the players have been lighting things up at the Ken Rosewall Arena, but of course, Vivid Sydney is on this year, May the 22nd through to June the 13th, 2020. Series of light art, innovative ideas and programs, and cutting-edge music and performances. As you can see, it is the largest festival of light, and with all those music and ideas, it is something to savour if you can get yourself here on those dates. Again, May the 22nd to June the 13th of this year.
Change of Roberto Bautista Agut, and then weighing in, leaning in over Rafa's shoulder.
So I was fortunate enough to chat to Rafa during the Labour Cup, which again is very well hosted by Tennis Australia. Roger Federer, a big part of that, a number of others. As you hear him talking here, the big catalyst last year when he was struggling. And of course, I've never seen him as down as he was when he pulled out of the semi-final against Indian Wells against Federer. He was in Barcelona. Told me there that he went back to the hotel room after a 3-set win against Leonardo Mayer and had a long conversation with himself. Nobody else, just him about, okay, it doesn't get worse than this, and it can only get better. I just need to have a different outlook on how my season's going to go. I've got to just get rid of the past and look to the future. He said that was the week, even though he lost the team in the semis there, that he started to feel as though the year was going to go better for him. But it was just him on his own, no team.
Well, interestingly, he also played a part in this man's resurgence, Rafa. The Wimbledon semifinal in 2018 was an epic. Novak won it 10-8 in the 5th set, and Novak said afterwards that was the match that mentally turned things around. That catapulted him to a different, more confident self. It brought him back. He had been the dominant player and then went walkabout for a couple of years. He had the elbow injury and surgery. That match led him back to the belief system.
These Serbian fans are only going to infuse this man's competitive desires. They're not going to get dulled by their overindulgence in loving Djokovic out here. And a very positive reaction from the Spaniard after that last point. And that's why the drop shot's so effective. You look at Nadal there, he had to move up the court to guard against it, and suddenly found himself flicking one off his toes on the baseline, not enough time to react.